no matter how quality Solo is, the entire Star Wars fanbase is gonna hate this film. Did I? Let's see.
So glad we took this job!
Solo, a Star Wars story. So Solo, a Star Wars story is pretty much just an origin story of Han Solo, and that's pretty much all you need to know. Okay, now one adjustment I am going to point out. There is Black Panther right there, just saying. About that, so yeah. So what really was the point of Solo? To make money! In fact, that's one of the main problems with this film. It really doesn't feel like it needs to exist. And for those of you, quote-unquote, real Star Wars fans that hate the new ones, you're not gonna like this film. But don't skip out on it, because I want there to be a Solo too. And in a world where we think Solo's gonna be bad, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it does feel pointless. I mean, sometimes it feels a bit weird, and I feel like it didn't need to set up a sequel, but it's still actually pretty good. In fact, if I went back in time and told my past self, hey, guess what? Solo is good, he'd be like, okay, sure. He would totally believe me, because I was like, this film, when Solo's happening, I was like, I think this film could be good. And it is good. It's pretty much, it's the most fun I've had in a Star Wars spinoff yet. There have been 5. There were like the 3 old ones from like the 80s and 70s, the 2 Ewok films, and the holiday special. Then we had Rogue One, but this is the most fun I've had of any of them. Though the only 2 that are good are Solo and Rogue One. Now you might usually think that I kind of overrate films, and I see where you're going. I mean, I gave Ready Player One like a 9 out of 10, Pacific Rim a 7 out of 10, and Pacific Rim Uprising 7 out of 10, and then Early Man an 8 out of 10. Those films, I do pretty much understand the ratings, and I can see where 7 or 6 out of 10 happens with Solo. In fact, I'll figure out by the end of this video what my rating really is. But by the end of this film, I enjoyed myself. I actually really enjoyed it. In fact, we actually had a whole party for this film, because me and my friends are all, like, huge Star Wars nerds. So, I was like, yo, guys, want to go see Solo? And everybody's like, yeah. So, the 10 of us, I pay $100. We all saw Solo. There's a solid explanation for a Star Wars story at the end of this. It didn't need to be there in Rogue One, but it needs to be here in Solo, because there's an old Mexican movie called Solo. If I had reviewed that, everybody would have laughed. Everybody would have left this channel. No, don't get me wrong, Solo has problems. It has quite a few problems. For instance, sometimes it feels a bit weird. The plot was, I didn't really think much of the plot. But let's talk about the cast of this film. Everybody does their part. There's this one girl in the film. She's in the trailer. She's the one that's like, I may be the only person in the universe who knows what you are. Yeah, she did great. I really liked. I thought whoever plays Solo, I don't remember his name, but he did great. I liked him. I don't remember who he was, but he really reminded me of Han Solo. And I also Donald Glover. Donald Glover as Lando is the star of this film. He does so well. He has such a charm to him. He just did great. And I've seen like rappers and artists like that go act and they never work. Here he actually worked. Also, the directing of this film, I do see a few scenes. Like there's one scene where it's like the film begins and I'm like, this is different, and then it just is like, time jump, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Also, another thing this film has pretty much no Empire. I mean, there's that one scene with the giant tentacle monster. Their Star Destroyer's there. But the film as a whole doesn't really have the Empire in it. Yeah, they're just not in it much. Also, L3. L3 is this robot in this film. She's great. It's like the robot from Rogue One. I forgot to mention him in my review, but I liked him. I thought he was great. And then BB-8's great. And then R2, every time there's a new Star Wars film, the droids steal the show. Unless it's a prequel. Which I guess Solo is a prequel, whatever. In fact, this film has a little tie-in to the Star Wars universe. little tie-in. So, hopefully Solo 2 does something. And I think in order to express my opinions on this film, I would have to do a spoiler talk, so I will do one of those. But if you're thinking I could just do one on Stardust, I could, but I don't really want to make people, like, have to follow me on Stardust to see what I think on some of the spoilers of this film. I just don't think that's very fair. There are spoilers in this film. I'm telling you, there are spoilers. In fact, now I think I'm going to make a spoiler talk after seeing this film. Before, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do one. Also, Chewbacca's great in this film. When he meets Han Solo, I was like, pretty good meetup. I liked that. And then every time they're together, they're just all great. I really like them. Also, I just decided after this one, like, I just went through the whole Star Wars movies, and I was like, which movie has the best action scenes? And I think Solo has the best action. Now, I've never really think that Star Wars has the best action. It has fantastic action, but Solo pushes the limit, and it's pretty cool. Like, Solo's always been known as kind of this, he's really risky, and he's really risky in this film, but I really like, I love all you see that one speeder chase in the trailer. That scene was great, because it gave me Baby Driver feels of all thing. I don't know, it just did. Also, with the one space chase, the scene with in space, I was like, that's pretty good too. Also, film answers many questions. How did he meet Lando? How did he get the Millennium Falcon? How did he meet Chewbacca? Where did he get those dice that were in The Last Jedi? It answers a lot of questions, and I really like that. Oh, there's one reference in this film that happened. It was not the big spoiler at the end, but it is a spoiler. I'll talk about it in my spoiler talk. But when the reference came up, I was like, oh, whoa. In fact, there's a lot of moments in the film where I was just like, hey, yeah. So, yeah. Also, this film isn't, when people say it's a heist film, that's sort of not true. It kind of is. It's a convoluted heist film with other plots threaded through it. It was also super nice after the convoluted The Last Jedi. I really liked another thing I really liked this one was because it just felt simple. Because in The Last Jedi, the whole casino thing, The Last Jedi is not a very simple film. And that casino planet thing in the theater, I was like, yeah, we go to Rey and Luke again because they were cool. And here, there's no weird subplot. Like this weird side quest that happens. That never happens in this film. This film was entirely straightforward. Also, there's another scene in this film. So that one scene in the trailer where Lando goes, everything you've heard about me is true. That scene popped up in the movie. I was like, Donald Glover's doing your great as Lando. And that scene is just kind of this challenge of who's more smuggly, Lando or Han Solo. Guys, in the end, I think Solo: A Star Wars Story is a great, it's just overall a great film, nonetheless a great Star Wars film. It's just great. Now, it's just okay as Star Wars films go, but as normal films go, I think this film's actually pretty good. It has some really good moments. It has some great action scenes, the best in pretty much all of Star Wars yet. It's not necessarily, it doesn't really need a point, but when we get a trilogy of Solo movies, you're going to want to see this film. This film, I think, for all you guys who didn't like The Last Jedi, you probably will like Solo, because any problem that's in The Last Jedi isn't in Solo. It doesn't have a really convoluted, pointless plot. It doesn't really have any weird side quests. It's just a straightforward, semi-heist film. It's good. I've always liked heist films, so it's good. It's great. I'm going to give Solo an 8. And that rhymed. Alright, so what do you guys think on Solo: A Star Wars Story? Let me know in the comment section below. I will do a spoiler talk Tuesday next week, most likely. I don't know, I'm probably busy seeing Infinity War a fourth time. Well, I'll squeeze out that spoiler talk. It will not be as long as my Infinity War spoiler talk, but it will be genuinely pretty long. God, this review is longer than usual. Whatever. See you guys next time. If you're wondering what else I'm going to review, I guess I'm not going to go to the theater. The next thing I'm going to the theater is Ocean's 8, which I'm pretty excited for. No one else is. But, I'm maybe going to stick to just not doing mini reviews soon because I don't have much to review. I will review some films over the summer. We have a lot of films to talk about this summer because I have Incredibles 2, Jurassic World, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Teen Titans Go. Yeah, I have a lot to talk about. See you guys next time.